What's the deal, Panther fans? It's your boy, the Professor, aka Tony Dunn, and this is the C3 Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Thanks for joining us every Tuesday night at 10 p.m., where we bring you the hottest Panther fan news from the fan perspective. I'm here with my boy, Mel Mayock, the Nomad. Glad to have you back.
What's happening, Professor?
I'm excited, man. We had a good day today.
Yes, we did, man. Hey, I tell you, it must be Tuesday night, and it must be my favorite night of the week because I get to hang out with you, and normally with the freaking Puerto Rican who is down there hanging out with Mickey Mouse this week, right? So a shout out to our boy. But man, it's a lot of fun things going on in Panther Nation, man. So I'm looking forward to tonight's show.
Oh, man, CarolinaCatChronicles.com has been kicking butt. So if you guys have not been following, you got to check it out. So I'm glad everybody's here. You're right. It must be Tuesday night. It must be 10 o'clock, and the Panther Fan Talk is going down. The C3 Podcast, episode 15.9, Big Game, Pro Days, and Special Team Specialists. We've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to rally in defense of Graham Gano's family. We're going to look into some important Panther fan pro days. I'm most excited about bringing you some audio of Backyard Baller and C3 favorite Justin Hardy from his pro day. I went out there in a monsoon and weathered the storm.
I'm looking forward to hearing that, man. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. We got some exclusive, and I think at the end, don't let me forget this, I want to debate the nuances between special team specialist and ace, and if that's a good thing, a bad thing, because we got a lot of them.
We got a lot.
And in the midst of all of that, we're going to squeeze in a round to finish that thought, fact or fiction, and you better stay to the end, folks, because the ice-up picks are cold. Cold as ice this week. We're excited. So, we're going to jump in the show, but before that, be sure to follow us on Twitter, guys, at @cat_chronicles. Like our Facebook page, Carolina Cat Chronicles. If you're down on Twitter, you got to follow us because we bring it on Twitter. It's an unhealthy amount of tweeting about the Carolina Panthers.
True.
It's starting to seep into my DNA. But speaking of Twitter, while you're following us, you can tweet the show live using the hashtag C3. We'll even feature your tweet on the podcast, and we'll read some of them off for the people that are listening. Make sure, if you can't watch the show to the end, to the finale, you can always go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com and catch up. But you can download us on iTunes or Stitcher for the audio podcast, which is just as spoken, just minus this pretty mug right here.
that's the advantage.
Is that right? Well, I gotta agree. I might agree with you on that. So iTunes, Stitcher, and while you're there, be sure to give us a good rating and upvote. We could use the help. So, we're the help growing. Panther Nation. It's the voice of Panther Nation. And now it's time, guys, to talk about what's hot on C3. Right? Mel, we all watch. We mentioned Twitter like times already in this show. We watch it clososely, and I pay special attention to our favorite Carolina Panthers, the players themselves, and so I'm watching this. I got a special stream dedicated to Panther players where I just can watch what they're tweeting on my crazy epilepsy desktop of Twitter, and this image right here pops up of Graham Gano's brother's conquest. Graham Gano's brother took down some big game this recently. He caught 124-pound yellowfin tuna, and he killed this boar, which one fan noted looks more like a woolly mammoth.
Yeah, it does.
I learned a little something about picture taking and perspective about this and that. He's actually probably standing about 50 feet behind this boar, and the camera's down on the ground. But it looks like a 15-passenger van to me.
Looks like something out of the Flintstones, man.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I like featuring stuff like this because Carolina Cat Chronicles is about the fans, and we're not news junkies and things like that. we do it, but we always have our shtick, our fan perspective. So I like this. This is fun. See what the guys are doing on their spare time. This was his brother, all right? And he
Yep.
was like, hey, my brother and the beard. And I was going to write a little write-up and put this picture up just because I thought it was cool. And then the hippies came out. You could have smelled them right away. The hippies come out, and
It was pretty predictable.
yeah, it really was. At Lake James Cat says this: let's see a rematch with the animal and him without the weapons. Lame, right? Next, Kate is fun. Well, she wasn't fun here. She ruined all the fun. She said, makes me sad. I actually really care about animals and exploitation. So your boy the professor had to come on out, man.
You brought it, man. You brought it. You brought a great fan perspective, man. You were telling the truth.
Did I go too far? My question is this: what did you think about the? Are you ready to defend Graham Gano's right to post pictures of his brother's conquests over nature?
Well, you know what? And Graham came out, and you could say it's kind of sad that he had to defend himself, but he came back out and he said, "Hey, we as a family eat everything that we kill, and you know what? Animals are a part of the food chain. They just really are. From the existence of humans at the beginning, you survived by killing those animals that is about the same size as what he showed in that picture, and they're a part of the food chain. That's why God created them. So, I think somebody was just being a little bit of a hippie. I've met a lot of people in my life that said don't kill a fly because it's got a soul and you're going to be mean to the fly, but that was an Ice Up Sun candidate for me tonight. They didn't win. They're not my Ice Up Sun pick.
Yeah.
She was there. She was close.
I'm not wasting my ice on these stinky hippies right here. What I got to say about this is I had some jewel lines in this story. I think one was, next time you want to be critical, why don't you issue your criticism at the diesel truck that delivers your patchouli to the Mystic store? That one, because you can't carry that stanky mess in a Prius. On top of that, I think I said something else about, this guy's out there fishing for sport, and this isn't some industrial Chinese ship with a huge net raking the whole ocean, taking everything with it so they could eat their unagi. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
So to me, and I think I might have gone too far when I said, well, I got to go cut my grass. Maybe I should say a prayer for its soul.
Well, hey, that's classic professor style, right?
Yeah.
Right on the edge, man. Right on the edge. I love it.
I know. I had to run it by you guys and said, is this going too far?
Of course, I said, nope, not too far. Run with it.
This bothers me. This bothers me a lot. It bothers me because it's lame. There are a lot of things in this world we can be upset about. There's a lot of things about the environment we can be upset about. I think I'm pretty hipped out. I'm pretty libby when it comes to things like, hey, I recycle. I think it's good to not shit where you sleep, and I think we should preserve the earth as best we can. But this is ridiculous. I got 99 problems.
Wait a minute. What? You don't do what where you sleep, and how is that, Libby?
You don't know. I'm saying you don't shit where you sleep. So you should clean up your environment. You should take care of it. But this is not anything in that ballpark.
Okay, I'm just getting clarification.
You want to talk about all those problems? I got 99 problems, and this ain't one.
There you go.
Okay, so we'll talk more. I'm sure we'll mention something else.
But you know what? If you want to read more about that, go out to CarolinaCatsChronicles.com, where the professor has a great take, a great article out there. Just peruse through all the hot articles that are out there. Read more about it, man. This is a great take. Good job, man.
There's another one up there on Coney Ely working out this offseason. Coney Ely's trainer, he's working on agility drills and change of direction. Coney Ely is working hard. There's a great video. You can check it out on CarolinaCatChronicles.com. He's working on change of direction. It looks like he's trying to become a better run stopper, which I like that idea. Maybe getting off of blocks or getting after guys that after maybe he has miscalculated initially where the hole's at or something like this, maybe pushed off balance. So Greg Hardy's gone now. We're not going to talk about him. No Greg Hardy on this show. But Ely has got some big shoes to fill. Do you like seeing this positive commitment to improvement from Coney Ely on the offseason?
Oh, man. You know who he reminds me of is Panther great Mike Rucker. He's not the most talented guy in the world. He's not Julius Peppers. He's not Greg Hardy. But he's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of determination, and he's putting in the time, putting in the effort, and I think he's going to overachieve. And if you remember Mike Rucker, he really excelled from year 1 to year 2, and I think Coney Ely is going to do the same thing. So I'm excited to see putting in that off-season work. He's not just down chilling in the Bahamas. He's putting in the work, man. It's going to be exciting to see.
I think he's a good. What I like about him, one thing just a comment I wrote out there somewhere today look, I like his talent. I like the upside of this guy. Certainly, I like all those things. But he got a lot of criticism from internal. Well, not a lot. He got some tough love early from Ron Rivera and Cam Newton last season. The media latched onto this real quickly. A lot of people were hoping he was going to do better. He got tested early since Greg Hardy was gone for his shenanigans. And what I liked about him was the positive mentality he kept. I think he's humble. I think he's hardworking. And I think that goes just as far, if not farther, than talent in this league. There's nothing more than a waste of talent for a guy that's not going to work hard. So I like to see this. Keep pounding Coney Ely. Year 2, we're going to see you blow up, hopefully. If not, I'm not expecting him necessarily to come out and get 10 sacks. He did get like 3 at the end. He got a lot towards the end.
He really came on there at the end, man. But, if he really wants to take that next step, you know what he needs to do? It would really help his game. And Coney, if you're listening, man, you need to come on the show. If you come on the C3 podcast and you talk to Panther Nation, you talk to the professor, and you talk to Mel, and you talk to the freaking Puerto Rican, your game is going to explode, man. Just do it.
Oh, man. Destiny. I totally agree with you. For
those of you listening out there, just go ahead and tweet it out with the hashtag C3.
I agree with you. I agree. In fact,
that's good news, people.
Good news. That's for you, Mel. I know that's your favorite. All right, moving on from Coney Ely. We got a lot to talk about this weekend. We're moving. We're chugging through the material. What do you think about the number 5? Do you like the number 5?
I love the number 5, man.
What about 5 cubed times 3? Or 5 cubed. Maybe a little C3 love in the 5th round. Last week on the show, we talked about the compensatory picks. And it was announced the day of the show, and we were announced that we were going to have a 5th and a 6th pick. We were excited. Dave Gettleman was excited. We thought they were thinking it was going to be a 5th and a 7th, and Dave Gettleman comes out and said this. We didn't know what it was going to be. We thought it was going to be a 7th. You look at that formula, and you got to go to MIT and have a astrophysics degree, graduate in that, to understand the formula. Well, it turns out he was right, and the NFL had to go and get an astrophysicist from MIT because the next day we get a change in the compensatory picks. And now we have, instead of a 6, another 5th round pick. That is 5 cubed, 5 5th round picks, 2 of them compensatory. How good is this for our draft station, our positioning, Mel? You tell us.
Well, this is just an incredibly deep draft. So April 30th cannot get here fast enough, And to have 3 picks in the 5th round is just incredible, and I can't wait. Now, it's going to give us leverage. That's giving us 9 picks total. You cannot trade compensatory picks. However, do not be surprised if you see us trade our original 5th-round pick or a 4th-round pick, couple that with our 1st-round pick or our 2nd-round pick, and move up and get one of these guys that you didn't think we could get ordinarily. So, this just opens the possibilities, man. I'm excited. It's great.
All right, we talked about this concept of moving up. We've talked about this for the last couple of weeks in some ways, and we thought it was.
By the way, I've traveled probably 10,000 miles in the last week. I wasn't on here last week, so I'm happy to be back, get caught up with you. It's been a little while.
You gave us some good. You bailed us. You helped us out in the show though on the road. Some good insight into what. Tell us what the Saints had to do last season to move up into the first round. I mean, move up in the first round. They moved from 27, I believe, to 20.
Yeah, they had to move up 7 positions to get Brandon Cooks. If you remember last year, Panther Nation voted almost unanimously. I think it was like 83% in the Cat Chronicles poll. Everybody wanted Mach 7, Brandon Cooks. That's who we wanted. And the Saints traded a 3rd-round pick to move up 7 spots ahead of the Panthers to get Brandon Cooks. But, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm glad we got Kelvin Benjamin. But that tells you, if we want to move up from 25, rumors have it, the Panthers been talking to folks in around the 17, 18, 19 spot. It would take a 3rd-round pick or maybe 2 5th-round picks to move up.
How about this? C3 spanning the globe. We've been known to enter markets across the Atlantic in the UK. Now, at Felipe Vieira, hashtag Panthers Brazil, tweets in this, and it's to Mel. And it says, imagine a new Bene, Josh Norman, and Klein, all 5th-round picks. So even without coupling this, he's pointing to the guru himself, a little ghetto magic in the 5th round. It is, what Norman was Norman in his first draft, or was he a year before?
He was a year before.
Did he not come in with Starr and KK?
Oh, man, I'd have to research that. I think he was a Marty Hurting pick in the 5th round. I know he's out of Coastal Carolina. But hey, that brings it up. We're still talking to these folks, but if you speak Portuguese, or if you're from Brazil or know folks down in Brazil, go to PanthersBR.com, man. They got a smoking hot website down there. We're working on it, but a little bit of a sister website down there. It's pretty awesome stuff.
I like the idea. Brazilian women. Totally hot.
Great sangria, too. Great sangria.
Well, what I was thinking is that we've been talking about the concept of moving up. And we had been thinking maybe this was a move up in the 3rd or move up in the 2nd, kind of where we were leaning to.
Mm-hmm.
You get 3 5th-round picks. All of a sudden, maybe you can do some finagling with other teams where you move around a little bit in those rounds to then do a double trade to maybe work out a move in the 1st. I was on Carolina Pro Football podcast. You can check them out. These guys bring you the X and O's, that kind of high intellect football talk. Go to CarolinaProFootball.com. If you're a Panther fan, you'll like the coach's perspective. These guys break down the tape, real measured and insightful stuff. What they were talking about is, I think it was Dave on the show said, "Look, man, we gotta go." He wants them to move up for Gurley, and he said, "You're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to move up." I thought it was cool. I thought that he was willing to say, "Let's go for it." Maybe it comes in the 2nd, but this helps. It certainly helps having 3 5ths. That's easy. 3 5th-round picks. I think we should rename the round the Carolina Panthers round.
Yes, sir.
The Carolina round. On top of that, Clyde, I just saw him pop up on Twitter. Interacting with.
Is there an F-bomb in there somewhere?
No, but he was totally hating on Coney Ely, but he just goes, you know how I do. Yes, we do, Clyde.
Yes, we
Yes,
do,
we do.
Clyde.
Um, all right, I think that was a good segment, the what's hot segment. I think it's time, folks, for a little finish that thought.
Funny. Sometimes I just don't get people. Human beings are so weird. Who talks in front of a camera by themselves for fun? Who thought that was a good idea? These ideas, some of these things that you use every day. Who's the guy or girl that was like, yeah, good idea.
All right, Professor, man, you put out the best clips in the business, brother. You really
I
do.
like it. It's weird. I have a weird sense of humor.
I love it.
The Panthers, finish this thought, Mel. The
All right.
Panthers working out defensive tackles Jordan Phillips and Eddie Goldmanthus this week is
Eddie Goldman, right?
Goldman.
Yep.
Okay.
It
Oh,
is.
how about this in the notes? Goldman, and then this didn't have a space between them. I say I'm gonna go ahead and do my finish that thought. Working out old Eddie Goldmanthus is just straight dumb, Professor, because you don't even know what you're talking about. Stupid grammar. All right, go on with it. Finish that thought, man.
And what do you teach as a professor?
Not grammar, obviously. I totally just put a space in the notes because it was.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. But you bring up a great point, man. The Panthers been working out some people, some top-notch talent, and I've been telling folks, don't expect the Panthers to take the 4th or 5th best offensive tackle in the draft at 25. Expect them to take the best player at another position that may not be as deep in this draft. They're looking at defensive tackle. Panther Nation's going to go crazy. Clyde might implode physically. You know, he's a big dude, but he might just go crazy at the thought. But don't be surprised. Taking the best player at defensive tackle is not out of the realm of possibility. So it's kind of Gettleman's MO. I like it.
Are these guys lock first rounders?
No. But they are first-round talent. This is such a deep draft. Somebody's going to fall. Somebody's going to fall into the middle of the second round, and you're going to say, like Ryan Khalil, back in the day, he was a first-round talent, and for some reason, he just fell to the second round. We took him, and we hadn't looked back. It's going to happen again.
I think that you're right. I think that it's kind of the Coney Ely thing. You got to be ready to pull the trigger on these guys when you can, and with no remorse, no hesitation. I like that. I like them working out all the options, and we saw that last year. We saw that the idea that he went after Coney Ely in a year when we needed a left tackle so bad, but he wasn't going to reach. I like this. I'm just going to say this. I think it's just unclear and poorly written. That's what I say about this thought. Check your grammar, Tony. Check your grammar. I didn't write that one, by the way. All right. Next on Finish That Thought, the Falcons had lost a 5th-round pick and were fined $300,000 for.
Is that all they lost? Really?
For Noise Gate. Yes.
Oh, that's pitiful.
Is that the Finish That Thought?
Well, give me the thought.
That is it. The Falcons lost a 5th-round pick and were fined only $3,000 over Noise Gate, and that punishment is.
That's pathetic. Arthur Blank's been hanging out at Roger Goodell's house. That's pitiful. That's pitiful, people.
I feel like we should have a quote from a sound bit from Stephen A. Smith on this one. I just feel like his little annoying voice is in my head right now when I think about this. It's unsurprising, I guess. Screw this. I think this is a travesty. I think anything less than
second round pick.
No, this is serious. I say Julio Jones is moved to the Panthers. That's my punishment.
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
We got in a good conversation on Twitter this week over this, and one suggestion was to make the Falcons start Byron Bell and take Rich Rodgers as their special teams coach.
How about we move the Falcons to L.A. and send them to the NFC West?
You know, I'm ready. You know what? I'm ready to punch the Falcons in the face this year.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna whoop y'all. We're gonna whoop y'all.
Go get nasty. It's gonna get nasty.
Okay, Mel, let's finish that thought this week. We got a lot to talk about, so we're gonna move on. You ever bought anything on this thing called the internet?
Oh man, I live on the internet, dude.
I like to buy stuff on the internet, and you know, if I buy something, things are going down because the miser don't spend no money.
And I've heard if there's an epic night at the Dunn household with a few of those beers like you had right there, you wake up in the morning and there might be like 20 boxes at the front door.
That's right. Yeah. I get a little drinking in prime. Drinking prime is what I call it. Folks, if you like to buy stuff on the internet, we all do. Who wants to leave to go out into the crappy traffic and all that? There's this awesome thing called Amazon. But don't go to Amazon. Go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com and you click the Shop Amazon tab right across the top on your phone. You just hit the little menu button, Shop Amazon. It takes you directly to Amazon. You don't pay anything extra. All they do is want to know that we sent you. They want to know that Panther fans love to shop on Amazon, and if they do, they give us a smidgen. And when I say a smidgen, it is so little. It is so little, but hey, anything.
We appreciate it.
We love it, and one thing we do is we reinvest it into this website because we don't make any money. This is a labor of love, but this is how we bring you the cool T-shirts. This is how we bring you the tickets we gave away last season. This is how we have. I think there's something in the works for sign Luke Kuechly football at some point. I think the freaking Puerto Rican grabbed one of those. So that's what we do. Yeah. That's what we do. So you go to Amazon, but don't go to Amazon. Go to C3, click Shop Amazon, and help Panther Nation grow. With that, I think I want to talk about next pro days. There's two pro days that stuck out to me, Mel. This past week. Two guys, both backyard ballers, both North Carolina dudes that grew up. One grew up a little bit closer to where you grew up in your stomping grounds, and one is from my region. One is first backyard baller, Jamison Crowder, Duke wide receiver, and then Justin Hardy, East Carolina, man with the golden gloves. Crowder had a disappointing combine by most people's standards. It was a little surprising, I guess you would say. Smaller guy, ran in the 4.5s, I think, 4.58.
Yeah.
So somewhere in there. You're expecting this guy needs to be speedy to really make an impact at the combine. I would say, leaving the combine, his stock was falling. That's how I would characterize it. Would you say that's a mischaracterization?
No, I think that's fair. That's fair. People were expecting somebody coming in at 5'8" to be, if you're not the prototypical NFL size, you better excel in something. And speed is number one on the list.
We got people throwing ice up pics on Twitter, making me laugh. All right. Hashtag C3, folks. Crowder, though, at his pro day, had a good showing. He ran, supposedly, according to their times, a 4.39.
Yes, sir.
Which is smoking fast. And this is how he reacted to it. He was happy. And he said, I'm happy. I'd be happy. I'm overjoyed, he said. I just got to keep grinding. But if that was it, I'm definitely satisfied with that. This guy has had 3 1,000-plus yard receiving seasons at Duke, not known for necessarily the most high-octane offense, even though they're turning their program around.
So that's saying a lot.
Really?
1,000 yards at Duke. Imagine what he'd have done at Florida State.
What's interesting to me, too, is he is first in ACC history in career receptions with 283.
Yep.
And he's third in all-time receiving yards with 3,641. Just a note here, he's first in ACC history, he's the number one pass catcher in ACC history. Have you ever heard?
Tied for first.
Oh, is he? Have you ever heard? Do you know? I don't know. Can you remind me who's caught the most passes in college football history?
Oh man, somebody out in Twitterverse is going to have to help us with that. I don't know.
Was his name Justin Hardy?
Oh,
I think so.
Mr. ECU. Mr. ECU.
That's right. Oh, I forgot. So we're gonna give Crowder his due. By the way, I heard Crowder might be a C3 guest soon. He also was. They were putting some emphasis on him being a punt returner. That he was going to need to show that this was something he was going to be good at. Supposedly, reportedly.
Oh, did you hear that? That was cool.
He caught balls off the jugs machine, and at one point he caught a ball in his chest while holding two others.
Nice.
This sounds like a good combine for this kid. He fast, kind of highlights his production, shows some of his versatility. How much did this help? And how much did he need this, Mel?
Oh, he needed it big time. Because I agree with you. You know, I think people were looking for Crowder to have a very big combine, and to come out at 4.58, it was like letting an air out of a balloon to his prospect. But this just gave him new life, new energy, and quite honestly, it's a little unfortunate for Panther Nation because I want Crowder, I want him, and now this is going to put him on the radar of a lot of 31 other teams. So, but good for him. Good for him. Monroe native, which is about 15 miles from where I grew up.
I mean, this helps, but I mean, he's still small. It's not like he's going to shoot up, but so much, you know. I mean,
probably fifth round pick.
Okay. But that's good. There's no shame in that game. I hope we get to ask him. I'm in the works right now for bringing him on the show. I'm excited.
That's a get right there.
I just heard from Sports Relativity, his agent, and that we're working on the scheduling and the timing right now. I mean, this just happened this afternoon, part of my good day. In fact, I have to say, President O, what do you think about that?
This is good news, people.
I agree, Barry.
Thanks, Barry. All right. What we got now is I braved. This is how much I care, folks. I went to first of all, I don't really care about y'all. I do love y'all, but I love some Justin Hardy, and I love the ECU Pirates. I ain't gonna lie, right? So I went to this.
Second best team in the state, man. Second best team.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear that. I did this for me first and foremost, but I also did it for the website because everybody loves some Justin Hardy. I went to Justin Hardy's pro day. I was excited as a fan. Awesome. I got, how I made all that, how I make like the player art and stuff. I printed out my player art for the man with the golden gloves and brought it. And the first thing I did, I didn't ask him no questions. I didn't try to interview. The very first thing I did was a straight up fan. Hey, will you sign it?
And then you squealed like a little girl when you did. Right?
Oh, man, I had a good time.
Yeah.
But this is where it got crazy. It was a freaking monsoon out there, brother. It rained so damn hard. All 32 teams were there. It was the worst weather. But I bared the storm. I weathered the storm. And, Justin Hardy also had a good pro day. Reportedly ran a 4.440. Now, they ran this indoors. And it was kind of like it was in a weight room. He ran it in a weight room. And, he crashed into the wall afterwards. Like, he was going fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was giving it his all. Yeah. They made him wear cleats, though. They didn't let him run it in shoes. They said, you got to run it in cleats. So that gives something.
Hey, Professor, is there anywhere that we could see a video of that?
You can check it out on YouTube, but I still have to edit it because it's turned sideways. But because I'm like holding the phone up over all these tall people, you know, I'm average height, man, 5'10", average.
Is that average?
But I'm cooler than average though. Let me just say that. But I got to talk to Justin Hardy a little bit. I got some clips from, boy, I stood out, and just the reason I'm telling you all about the weather is you can hear it in these clips. So all that background noise, that ain't no damn speakers. That is real rain falling on my head, about to ruin my phone. And here is the first clip from Justin Hardy about his performance so far for scouts and at the combine.
I think I did pretty good. You know, I did what was expected. You know, things that I knew I was going to do good in, I did good in. And, you know, things, you know, I wasn't expecting to do good in. You know, I surprised a couple people, so that's a real good thing.
Where do you think your strength's going to be going into the draft?
You know, like I said, same thing I've been doing in college. You know, catching the ball, route running, you know, blocking. You know, just trying to be a good player.
So he said this. He's surprised. He's asked about how his performance was at the combine, at his pro day, and he said, "Look, I think I had a good showing," and he's right. What he did is he ran faster than people expected. He showed more agility than people expected, and then he did all the things he always does, which is run smooth routes, great body control, great blocking, which even though you don't block in the combine, and hands, these wonderful hands.
Best hands in the draft.
There you go. You can find all types of fan clips. You know, I go to the games, and I'd be bringing my camera. I'd be, like, making these little clips of him just catching these one-handed passes and all this stuff. Oh, by the way, he was a high school quarterback, and he threw a touchdown this past year. So he can do a little bit of all. He can punt. He can catch punts. He can do all these things. So what do you think about that? Has he been, for someone, do you think his stock has climbed from this?
Yes, I think it's solidified. I think there's teams in there that weren't really sure. Is he somewhere between the 3rd and the 5th round, somewhere in there? I think he's solidified his spot. If the Panthers want to get him, we're going to have to get him in the 3rd round.
Wow, that's big. That's a good draft for Justin Hardy. I like that. So here's some things. So the next thing we got to know is we want to know how his performance was. The next thing we got to know is what teams is he talking to. And you might hear a little professor in this one.
Justin, has there been any teams that have shown more interest in you than others, or is everybody about the same?
You know, everybody's about the same. You know, I look at it like that. You know, not saying that one team is over another team. You know, just playing it neutral right now and see what happens next month.
Do you have any private workout schedule with teams yet?
We figuring that out right now. My agent just got on time, so I'm going to talk to him and see what's up.
Have the Carolina Panthers reached out to you at all?
Yes, sir.
He called you sir, Professor. He called you sir.
I know.
Hey, let me ask you a question, though. Are you a Seinfeld fan?
No. Well, yes. I mean, I like it, but I didn't really watch it. I was young.
You know, I mean, you got the close talkers. Man, was he a fast talker? He's a fast talker, man.
Yeah. I mean, it was pouring down. Right? You're right. He was.
He's ready to get inside, maybe.
God.
But he called you sir. He called you sir. That's the biggest moment in C3 history.
I got and the cool thing is he stuck around with me in this pouring ass rain for an extra minute at the end. We're going to talk about that. But that first voice was my boy, Clip Brock from the Sports Bar, which you can check out Tony Dunn, the professor, on every Friday at 3 o'clock.
Seriously, folks, you need to check that out, man. The professor rocks that show. That's awesome stuff.
And I never let go of being a fan. That's what I do. I take it into every venue. So 3 o'clock, you can check that out. You can stream it on the app, Pirate Radio. You can catch that and everywhere you get apps at. And also pirateраdio1250.com. So I think this is that we get confirmation that the Panthers are interested in Hardy, and this might be why here he ran pretty fast at his pro day, Mel.
So this morning, you ran, what was the time this morning? 4.4?
4.4? That's what I was told.
Yeah. If that's what you ran, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, I'm happy with it. You know,
it's damn good.
It's an increase from you know, that's really one of the main things I wanted to prove. You know, not saying that 40 is everything, but you know, it's more to it than just going out there and running. You know, it's a technique to it or whatever.
Professor,
You hear that rain?
You were dancing like Carlton from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air during that, weren't you? You know it. You know it.
You know, that mess was damn good. I should have been out there going, that was way fast. Look, you know, we all know that they exaggerated a little bit. You know, the fact that it was right on the dot 4-4 is already like, all right. Just like the Crowder 4.39. Okay. But here's the thing is what this tells me has nothing to do with his speed. This is what I like about Justin Hardy. This is what you're going to get. You're going to get a smart kid. Right? He knows he's intelligent. He hangs out with Shane Carden, who's one of the smartest people that you're going to get in this draft. And if he goes, the quarterback, these guys are hitched at the hip. So he's a smart kid. But what he has done is trained immensely hard for the combine and for this event.
This is their life, man. You know? It's the biggest thing in their life.
But some kids don't work this hard. And, yeah. I mean, the idea is he's overperforming. And it's because, like he said, the 40 isn't everything. It's not you just going out there and running. It's a lot of technique. That's why he did so great in the cone drill. He's training in New Jersey, and he's talking about this. I'm going to go when he's talking about doing the three-step cone, the three-cone drill, he knew the exact steps he's got to take to maximize his speed. Like he was programming himself. He's not taking this lightly, and I think that might be the best thing you get out of him.
Absolutely. If Johnny Football had taken being a professional as serious as Justin Hardy is leading up to it, man, he would be like killing it. He'd be a starting quarterback in the league instead of sitting in rehab right now. You know?
Yeah.
But
he's in personality rehab.
You're getting a shout out on Twitter, man. At Carolina Panthers guy on Twitter, right? Says the win of the offseason, getting Justin Hardy to call you sir.
Yeah, I like that.
There's love out there on Twitter. Yes, sir.
That's right. That's what you always call your professors. So just like this, while I'm back there doing the call, right? I'm having a good old time. Here, this is what we got to deal with. Carolina Tar Heel graduates.
What do you think you can offer an NFL team?
You know, just my effort, you know, my attitude going to things, you know, try to look at the positive and everything, you know, just be a great player.
Hold on, I'm going to play this one more time. Listen to this. This is Jonathan Jones from the Charlotte Observer. Nice fella, but Carolina, we've got a history with him. Just listen to this. We're standing in the pouring ass rain, brother, and this is what he asked.
You ran
hold on.
Justin, has there been any teams that have shown more interest in you than others, or is everybody about the same?
You know, everybody's out turning out.
I just want people to hear him call you sir.
You can offer an NFL team.
You know, just my effort, you know, my attitude going to things, you know, try to look at the positive and everything, you know, just be a great player, be a great asset to the team.
What about on the field? Just what do you do well on the field?
Catching the ball, route running, blocking, you know, all those things that a great wide receiver can do.
I know you've worked on your 40 time. What's something that you know you need to improve on to get better at the next level?
Everything, you know, you got to take everything to a whole nother level because you're going to another level. You know, that's really one of the big things that I wanted to prove, you know, that I belong with.
ECU. When people say that you're the system receiver, what's your reaction to that?
I mean, everybody entitled to their own thing, you know. I know what I can do, and people know what I can do. You know, I'm not gonna lie, so I will do that.
All right, so Bill Voth from blackandbluereview.com jumps in there and asks him, when people ask him about being a system receiver, that rain, dude, was crazy, by the way. You could hear it.
It sounded like it, man. That was wild.
You know, he sounded confident, and I don't think you got to worry about the system. Yeah, it might help in pass heavy, and it may help the catch total, but he didn't drop anything, right? What do you think you can give to a football team? All right. So here I got the
That's the difference between a lame-ass reporter and a fan, right?
And this is, so that's what they ask, and then I stand out there to the end, and this is what I ask.
Hey Justin, you've had the best college football career in any receiver at East Carolina University and arguably in college history. How does it feel to hold those honors and be so well received by Pirate fans?
Oh, it's great. You know, I owe it all to them, really. Coming in, day out for these games. Showing the love that they do. The atmosphere on game day is unbelievable. Just go out there and just give them a show.
Man, thanks so much for what you did for us, man.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it. We're gonna keep rooting for you. Thanks for spending this time out in the.
That's what we do, right?
Hey,
Is that
you know what you know what I love, Professor? Great question. That was the highlight of your day, I know, but it was even more awesome to sit there and watch you mouth the words to your own question as you were listening to the playback. That's awesome, man. That shows you how much passion you have.
Thanks for what you did for us, man. I mean, you know what, here, and I know I'm a fan. I'm going crazy about this, and I love the kid. And, I mean, he grew up in Vanceboro, which is, if anybody knows anything about Greenville, North Carolina, you drive straight from Greenville through Vanceboro to get to the beach.
How far is that from where Gurley grew up?
All right, so one is east and the other one is kind of west, right? So really, I'm in the middle of the two. So
did they play each other in high school?
No. One is going to go towards New Bern into the beach, and the other one's going to be oriented to like the Rocky Mount, going towards the Raleigh area where Peppers played at. But here's the thing: if anybody knows anything about Vanceboro, there's only two things you know about Vanceboro, and that number one is they got this fake ass car that always sits there with like a dummy cop in it, so that you're driving through town and everybody's going to the beach and all the kids are going to party and they're trying to like get you to slow down with this cop car. And then they got an old school ice cream soda shop. But this kid was a walk-on. I mean, so I'm cheering for his story a lot as well. But he's good too, and it was nice. He stood out there in this pouring ass rain with me. Had fun. So, I thought it was awesome. We had a good time. So I guess that's why I'm excited about it. And I'm going to say this, is that you're going to get a good locker room guy, right? Felipe is worried about his height. He says this: I have one concern about Justin Hardy, the height. He is only 5'11". He's not going to be a tall guy. Here's what I'm going to tell you, though, about Justin Hardy. This is what he does well. He has great body control, right? He can get separation in great ways, that quick twitch type stuff off the line. He's a great blocker, but here's what he does. He comes back towards the ball better than any receiver I've ever seen.
He's what I call a zone buster. He's a zone buster.
That's exactly right. He can sit down in the zone. He can find these holes in the zone, and he comes back. So I think he can do this. I think we've seen small receivers do well. I think it's a lot about technique a lot of time. A lot of people excited about Justin Hardy on Twitter right now. I love that. All right. Let me tell you guys this, because we got to move on with the show. We were making such good time, and we actually are. We're pretty much through the show. We got two last segments. But before that, guys, you want to go see Justin Hardy when he becomes a Carolina Panther? You want to see Ty Gurley when he's a Carolina Panther? You know what would be awesome? To go on the road with 200 Panther fans together.
I want to go.
We're going. We're going to take up a whole section on the road. If you would like to go and represent in another city and show how great a Carolina Panther fans we are and how great Panther Nation is, you can do this. And you can do it with at great cost, with great organization, and no headache. If you like that idea, where do you go, Mel?
Oh, man. You go to roaringriot.com. Those guys are awesome. That's the place to go, man. It's the place to be.
They do it in high style. I've never heard a bad thing about it, so check them out. And while you're there, you're going to see this cool-ass logo of this great Panther fan site called CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Also, if you need a sporting event, if you need a ticket to a sporting event, you can do that. You can buy it through Ticketmonster, but don't go to Ticketmonster. Go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com, hit the scheduled tab, which is actually gone right now, so you actually have to go because there is no schedule. So you actually go scroll down the right column, and there is a little ad for Ticketmonster. You click on the little monster, and it'll hook you up.
People, that's for any game. You know what? I'm getting ready to go see the Colorado Rockies play. And guess where I'm buying the tickets? Through CarolinaCatChronicles.com, baby. Ticketmonster link.
No fees, cheap tickets, great. I mean, you've done it before, am I not right?
I have, and I saved $150 in the 7 tickets that I bought the last time I did it. I did. That's why I'm doing it again.
Was it hard?
It was easy peasy. Dude, you know I am the least technical person of any of your friends, right? I mean, I know you got a million friends, but I'm probably the least technical one of them all. Right?
Yeah. Well, maybe not the least technical. But you're pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
And I could do it. It's easy. If I can do it, anybody out there can do it.
Way to go, Mel. Way to go. All right. You know what time it is now. It is time for Susan. Susan, by the way, I wanted to have you on the show tonight, but I didn't.
Your billions, America.
Get your billions back, man. I wanted to have you on the show tonight, but I didn't even think I was so. My computer died at work today. Died. Blue screen of death died, and that put me behind in so many different things. So I didn't even think about the half of the show until I was on a run later today, and I was just disorganized.
You just wanted people to know you were running.
I know. It doesn't happen very often. I got more exercise doing the Carlton tonight than I did running. But it's time for everybody's favorite, fact or fiction. Fact or fiction! That's right. It's fact or fiction, where I'm going to give you a statement, Mel, and you're going to tell me if it's fact or fiction. Number one, literally 50% of Panther Nation wants Todd Gurley, and the other 50% will blow up Twitter and discuss if he's picked. Fact or fiction?
I'm going to say fiction because after tonight and reading the Twitter comments, it's at least 70% want Gurley as the pick, right? But the thought behind that question is a straight-up fact. People are going to go crazy on both sides of the fence. They're going to say, we don't need a running back. We need a tackle. What are you doing? And the other side is going to say, this is a transcendent talent. Way to go. You don't pass up talent for need. So it's going to be crazy on both sides of the fence.
Just kind of breaking right now on Twitter, Smokewagon just let us know Carolina Panthers worked out running back Cam McDaniel, wide receiver DeVaris Daniels, and tight end Ben Koyak today at Notre Dame's Pro Day. So some interest in the old Catholic Fighting Irish. Get your holy water out, folks. I got a question for you from Andy Massey, also big Greenville guy with me here. He's got a question for you, Mel, because I can't. This is in your wheelhouse. What about Darby as a dark horse at 25?
Well, the Panthers are working him out. They are very interested in him. But
and Smokewagon mentioned that today too.
Yeah, and you know what? If you don't follow Smokewagon, I don't know what you're doing on Twitter, man. That guy keeps you up to date on what the Panthers are doing. At
Sam S. Slater 96. Yeah, yes. And he kills it on C3 too.
He does, but and you know what? With us not signing a cornerback in free agency, with Ball dropping the ball and big money. By the way, great article on CarolinaCatChronicles.com about big money calling out Ball for dropping the ball and not signing with the Panthers, where other cornerbacks go to get paid. Right? Good story. Another good story by the professor. Right? But you know what? We did not sign a corner thus far in free agency. That does bring up the prospect. Are we going to be looking at a cornerback in round one? Darby is on the radar, but I think 25 is too high for him. I think he's in play at 57.
Wow. All right. Fact. You know what? I'm going to say this is I'm going to go with you on fiction here. The only thing that's fact about this is that Twitter's going to blow up if Todd Gurley goes to the Panthers, because I will put my Twitter account on auto repeat. I love you, man. Backyard baller. Love you. Keep your hands off my Gurley. All right.
Are you a girly man? Are you a girly man?
I'm a girly man.
Yes,
next on Fact or Fiction. Fact or fiction, the Panthers need to draft an offensive tackle in the first round, Mel.
That is fiction. Straight fiction. Now, I hope we get DJ Humphries, right? Depending on who's there. Humphries would be a great pick. However, if you're taking the fifth best tackle at 25 and you're passing on the first best safety or the first best anything else, that's a best way to stay mediocre. That's the best way to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. You take the best talent that you can, and you fill needs through free agency or later on in this draft. But you don't pass on Adrian Peterson to take Derek Sherrod. You don't do it.
How about this? A little Cam. You know, by the way, I talked to Cam Worthy. Michael at AirRaid73 just sent me a tweet on Twitter mentioning the Panthers getting Hardy, Gurley, and Cam Worthy. I talked to Cam Worthy at Pro Day. Couldn't run still. We'll be watching him. April 17th is when he's going to get an opportunity to work out for guys that were injured and missed the combine. They get to go to Indianapolis and work out with the doctors and some things like that. So I'm going to keep an eye on Worthy for you. And I've got his agent was talking to me at the Pro Day, so maybe we can work out something and get a little insight to that.
Nice.
So
hey, Garrett the Panther says, quote, "We all want Gurley."
I'm with you. I'm with you. You are preaching to the choir, brother. I'm with you. All right. Last fact or fiction. You mentioned a little story about Charles Johnson. I think it was Charles Johnson gives financial advice to Alan Ball. I think that was the title of it. And it was a little something like MOB, money over bears. This is the tweet right here. And this is the second time Charles Johnson offers a little financial advice. I mean, his name is Big Money, by the way.
Big Money.
He says this. His tweet was, you can check it out on the screen if you're listening on the podcast later on. This is what it says. If I was a corner, I would definitely want to play on the Panthers defense. Bad choice. D-line gets cats paid over here. Ask Mike Mitchell and Cap. Referring to Mike Mitchell and Captain Munnerlyn, who went and got their payday because the Panthers front seven eats it up. So, this is for you, Mel. Fact or fiction? Big Money gives out this financial advice to Alan Ball. So, fact or fiction, would you let Big Money Johnson be your financial advisor?
I love Big Money Johnson, so absolutely. Whatever he's got to say, I'm all for. I'm all about it.
You can be my financial advisor because it's pretty easy, fellas. The miser don't spend no money because he don't got no money.
That is true. As a business partner of the professor, I can vouch for that, brother. The dude,
I don't pay for nothing.
he pays for nothing.
I watch free movies on the internet. I build my own websites. I do everything. I make my own pictures. I stand in the rain to interview these people. No paydays for anyone. Just a
big
lot
night
of
at the
love.
Dunn household is a night at the Sizzler, right?
No, we don't got a Sizzler. It is the Japanese steakhouse, brother.
There you go. I'm down with it.
Okay. That was a good segment. In fact, I think it's time for the end. If Mel comes back, lost him. We've had first of all, I want to thank everybody for their support tonight. We've had a great show. We've had a lot of support out there. I can see a lot of good tweets. Keep them coming. Come to CarolinaCatChronicles.com. But right now it's time for. Are you ready, Mel? Do you need a second? I'll give it to you. Are you ready?
I'm ready now. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulty there.
It's okay, because now it's time for everybody, the OG CarolinaCatChronicles.com segment, the Ice Up Picks.
Nice. I got one for you.
This is where we tell someone in the universe. It could be in football. It can be. We got a lot of people talking about a UFC fighter out there who beat his wife and then got beat up afterwards. We tell anybody. It is open season on people that C3 thinks need to ice up, need to toughen up, need to get their act together.
Yep.
Mel, you got an ice up pick for everybody, for the ages, right?
Well, almost. You know, I mean, I thought I had a record here, but I went back through the Cat Chronicles history, and I realized that you actually called out a 7-year-old boy at one time, right? Right.
Fair game, brother. Fair game. You gotta learn early.
You gotta teach these young men how to be men, right? But
that's right. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's right. So I thought I had a record here, but not quite going after a 7-year-old. But I have a 3-pronged Ice Up Son pick. All right. So that might be a record. That might be a record. All right. So on Twitter today, there is a tweet from a Jeff Atkins. And I don't know Jeff Atkins from Adam, but Jeff Atkins tweets a picture of a news article from an elementary school. First of all, what elementary school has a newspaper? Okay, think about that. I didn't have a newspaper, but I think it's pretty cool. All right, but there is a 10-year-old boy in Virginia writing a news article about the problems with the Carolina Panthers. What? And what do you think his problem is with the Panthers? His problem is Cam Newton. And what jersey do I have on tonight?
I don't know, man. That looks like the #1 jersey in Panther history, Cam Newton.
And it's stitched, man. It is a stitched jersey. Thank you, Mom, from Christmas. You know, best jersey ever, right? All right. So
thanks, Moms. We love you.
Thanks, Moms. Appreciate it. I'm sure she's watching. But anyway, this kid, 10 years old, goes on to say, Carolina Panthers, pretty good team. They would win more if it wasn't for Cam Newton. I think the problem is Cam Newton throwing interceptions. That's their problem. If they could get rid of Cam Newton, they would be all right. But then he goes on to say, you know what? Now that I think about it, maybe the Panthers really all around aren't that good. Maybe it's everybody's fault.
I chuckled at the end of that. I ain't gonna lie. I chuckled a little bit.
On the one hand, I give the kid props. 10 years old. If you're writing about the Panthers, props, kid. But you know what? I don't buy it. I think I'm calling BS. I'm calling BS. There is not a 10-year-old kid in the world that hates Cam Newton on their own. No way. Period. With the Superman pose, the effervescence that is Cam Newton, the awesomeness that is Cam Newton, you ain't hating him. It's that man's dad. It's the dad who's feeding the hate. And as Taylor Swift says, and I'm not going to play it so YouTube doesn't tag us or flag us, haters are going to hate, but you know what?
Hate.
Yep. See, with that voice, they won't flag us. But the haters going to hate. That's right. You know what? So for the 10-year-old kid that wrote that BS story, for the dad who gave him that hated view to begin with, you're ruining our future men, and for Jeff Atkins for tweeting it, the random guy, and as our follower Susan says, for the random guy that posts this terrible article. Go ahead.
By the way, Black and Blue Review put it up on their website today.
Oh yeah, right. You know, Black and Blue Review is some big time players. So if they got it up there, I'm a little late to the game. But
no. I mean, it could have been after the random guy. But here's what I got for you. Is that I also think we need to add a fourth prong to this, in that Atlanta Falcon fan Scott Karasik writes for an elementary school newspaper. Because I'm going to go ahead and tell you, at the end of that article, at the end of that statement, you knew it with the camp. That kid, you ain't a Panthers fan. You a Saints fan. You a Falcons fan. You might even be Scott Karasik.
Yep. I think that's Scott Karasik's kid. He's this 10-year-old kid in Virginia that he's not
from the future.
Yep.
Eating gefilte fish. We got Susan. We got some ice up picks coming out. Susan says that she's giving an ice up pick to Greg Jennings for annoying her for making everybody wait because she said he signed. He doesn't know. Abby says, you didn't have a school newspaper? We had a closed circuit TV. She was the sports anchor. No, she didn't put that part. Wait, she said actually did sports one year. Oh, she did say that.
I bet she was cute in her little blazer, little 7-year-old Abby. I bet she was cute.
Which is super professional. All right, my ice up pick was, I was gonna go the hippies.
Wait a minute. You didn't give me a chance though, Jeff. Jeff, you didn't give me the chance to.
Oh yeah.
Jeff Atkins, the 10-year-old boy, the father of the 10-year-old boy, and Scott Karasik. Ice up, son.
Ice up, son.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right. All right, my pick, my ice up, son pick of the week. Look, if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I like to push buttons at times. I got a knack for it. But I don't like to let people slide, and that is that, hey, look, I've been blocked by the guy from Gold Rush, the TV show Gold Rush. He doesn't let me tweet him anymore.
That's not the only guy that's blocked you.
The truth hurts. I've been cussed out by former defensive end and now journalist Stephen White for the Tampa Bay defensive end for the Buccaneers. Who else blocked me? I can't even remember. Oh.
Certain backup quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. Yeah.
Derek Anderson, our backup quarterback. That's right. So this week, though, this Twitter beef goes back to the beginning roots of Twitter. And it also goes to a beat writer that is now with the Charlotte News Observer, Jonathan Jones. Jonathan Jones, you're a nice fella. You graduated from a school with this powder blue. You went to a school that drinks wine at tailgates, and that always wishes you dated ECU girls, but you couldn't, right?
State girls.
There is a snarkiness to this. I have some. There's some history of this, and this goes back the original roots of this ice up pick. Son, this pick goes to when he was a writer for his college newspaper, the Daily Tar Heel. Mm-hmm. And he wrote this article about how ECU wants to view the Tar Heels as a rival, but they're not even the same class as the UNC Tar Heels. How they have this wonderful program, and we are the country bumpkins that nobody pays attention to. And it was just like it was the same seething arrogance that comes with that. With that whole wine and cheese and a lot of whining going on. So this is what goes on with this is right away, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Number one, last year, I don't know, but I think ECU's beat the Tar Heels twice in a row, once at their house in 2013 and then 2014. I think they put up 70-plus points on them. 70? You're right. It's not a rivalry. This is just a good old country woodshed beating, and we deliver it. But this is where the ice up pick comes because you can feel that just the total Carolina, I hate ECU, these snooty comments, these snide remarks. I even heard one at the Pro Day. But he wrote an article on Justin Hardy, and it starts out like this. After a disappointing performance at the Combine with a 4.56 40, Hardy runs his fast Pro Day. I said, look, what are you talking about, disappointing? He said, if you can run a 4.40, 4.40, and you don't do it, that's disappointing. Well, let me go ahead and tell you this. 4.56 was, I thought that was a positive number for Justin Hardy. The other thing is that when you just look at this straight from the numbers, you didn't follow the program. You missed all of this. You missed all of this in the woodshed beating. I know it's hard to see all that when we're putting up 70 on you. That's the number that you're focusing on. But let me just go ahead and tell you this, let's get over this. It's time to show this boy some respect, the hard-working dude. So, Jonathan Jones and your wine and cheese. Who drinks wine at a damn tailgate, number one? Number two, ECU girls are hotter. Number three, Justin Hardy is the man with the golden gloves, and he is performing. So this goes to you, Jonathan Jones. Sweet. Ice up, son.
Ice up. I'm with you, man. Great one. Great job. Hey, great job. Hey, honorary Ice Up Sun pick here, coming in on Twitter from Carolina Panthers guy. For all the anti-Gettleman Panther fans, Ice Up Sun. Straight from
You know
Twitter.
what? A lot of fans brought it this week, and there are some great ice up picks. So for everybody that issued this one, and this is to all of our ice up picks.
You're out of order. No. You're out of order. This whole court is out of order.
That's right. That's right. This is the C3 podcast where we bring you the latest and hottest Panther news from the fan perspective. Mel Mayock, it's been so fun hanging out with you tonight. It is 11:11, my luckiest number, so let's close out the show. How can they get after you? And if you were going to recommend anything for them to look at on the website, check it out. Tell them where they should go.
Hey guys, it's been a lot of fun tonight. Love Tuesday nights. It's my favorite night of the week. We're talking Panther football 24/7 all the time. You want to talk Panther football? Hit me up on Twitter at PanthersDrafter, and I'm happy to talk with you. I'm not always going to agree with you, but we're going to have fun talking about it. We always got fun conversations going on at CarolinaCatChronicles.com. I'm also the Panthers drafter, or the Panthers analyst rather, over at DraftTech.com. There is a new mock draft coming out tomorrow. New picks for number 25, which might shock you a little bit, but I think it'd be a great pick. Check it out tomorrow morning. And go to Carolina Cat Chronicles every day. You're going to get your fix, man. There's always something good going on out there. We have a great core of writers, man. A shout-out to all the Cat Chronicle writers out there. I think there's 7 or 8 of them. Great guys, man. They're doing some great stuff. Great things on the horizon at Cat Chronicles. It's a great time to be a part of it.
It is. So everybody, you can follow. This is the Professor, and this is C3 Podcast. It comes to you live every Tuesday night at 10 o'clock. But if you can't make it, if for some reason you can't get here on Tuesday night, I understand. We're all busy, but it's awesome. You can download the podcast on iTunes and Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, the whole shebang. Check us out. Keep going. Panther fans, C3 Podcast just keeps pounding all season long. I'd like to also say this. There is a tremendous resource that was initiated by Smoke Wagon on the C3 website, and it is a listing of anyone that the Carolina Panthers have met with or have shown that they have shown real documented interest in. You can check this out. You can go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com. There's a tab right there for prospects, draft prospects that we've shown interest in. If you look to the left of it, you can see this awesome mock draft that Mel Mayock and Smoke Wagon worked together on, and they put together some tremendous work. So look, we got everything that you could think of. We got the stories that be busting on the patchouli wearers. We've got the draft insight in the latest news. So check out CarolinaCatChronicles.com.
Here's a curveball for you, Professor. You folks out there listening, you want your voice to be heard, because that's what Carolina Cat Chronicles is. We are the voice of Panther Nation, and you're all the voice of Panther Nation. How do they get after it if they want their post out there on Cat Chronicles? What do they do, Professor?
You simply go to the website, and on the homepage it says submit a fan post, and you can submit a post and put it in there, and it'll come right to me, and I'll work with you. I'll fix it up, as in when I say fix it up, I won't change anything other than we'll add some cool pictures, some graphics, and we'll have some fun with it. Or you can send me an email at carolinacatchronicles@gmail.com. We'd love to have that, because this is all about the fans. By fans, for fans, because without the fan, football is just a kid's game. And that is the C3 Podcast. Thanks for joining us, guys. Wonderful show.
We're out. Great job. Great job.